You're rolling. In Germany, we've been running a campaign for the last 3 years under the name Unsere Zukunft atomwaffenfrei. That means our future nuclear weapon free. And the goal of this campaign was to get rid of nuclear weapons in Germany, the US tactical nuclear weapons that have been based here basically since the Cold War. And also to end what's called nuclear sharing, NATO nuclear sharing, which means that German pilots would, in time of a nuclear war, fly these planes with those bombs on them and drop them on their targets. So that's what we wanted to do with the campaign, and we have had a relative amount of success because the German government has actually decided to pursue the idea of getting rid of nuclear weapons from Germany through their discussions in NATO. Both the parliament has agreed to this, and the government itself wrote it in their coalition agreement when they came in to power in 2009. The foreign minister Guido Westerwelle also went around the world telling everybody that that's what he wanted, and he went to the meeting of NATO in Tallinn last April and asked for the question of nuclear weapons to be put on the agenda there, and there the whole thing kind of got unravelled, and it was lost to sight, as it were, because both Rasmussen and Clinton came up with very strong statements saying that NATO should retain all their nuclear weapons. Then Madeleine Albright also produced her report for the NATO strategy, saying that nuclear weapons should also be retained for the future. The German position now is that they're very pleased that they think they have got the word disarmament into the NATO strategy, against the will of France, who said they didn't want to have any mention of disarmament. And they've also more or less agreed that there should be, after the Lisbon meeting, there should be a committee to do a kind of nuclear posture review for NATO. The actual problem with this is, for me in any case, is that this happened before in 1999, that they did the strategy and then they said we will talk about the specifics to do with NATO, nuclear weapons in NATO, and it went into a committee and it just disappeared. So I think this might happen again. And the truth of the matter is that if you look at the behaviour of people like Rasmussen and others in NATO over the last 6 months, you can see that there has been some pretty strong manipulation going on to try and stop this debate, to say nuclear weapons will continue to exist as long as they exist, and that NATO is not going to get rid of its nuclear weapons. So the question is the German government simply being naive and trying to pursue the question of nuclear disarmament through NATO? Are there not better ways to do that, for instance through the NPT or a nuclear weapons convention? And will NATO ever get round to doing disarmament? I don't know that that's really on the cards the way that it is now, because you still have so many people working within NATO deep into their corridors who still are basically in the mindset of the Cold War and still see Russia as the enemy.